Chapter 43 Highway to Hell. As the night flew past the boys, like the cold wind they rode through, Graham, as a motorcycle, was lapping up every moment. He had settled into a rhythm and was starting to really enjoy himself. "I can see why you love being a bike bouncer. This is so much fun!" shouted Graham over the raging wind. "Defo Graham, I'm quite tempted to join you," replied Bouncer. "You're more than welcome, but I think we may have to keep that pleasure for when we get back to the farm. I'd hate for us to get split up now," replied Graham. "Defo Graham, I have no idea where we are at the moment, so I'll leave it up to you," said Bouncer. As they continued to talk, Graham once more got that feeling that they were being followed. Taking a couple of lefts and rights, he checked behind them, but there was still a car behind them. It was coming and going, slowing down and speeding up, varying its distance, but like a shadow it was always there. "Bouncer, don't look now, but I'm sure we have picked up a tail. It can only be Barnaby. You know, the one we had in the hotel room, not the other one," explained Graham, sounding a little distressed. "Is that why we've been driving back and forth for the last 5 minutes, Graham?" asked Bouncer. "Yes, I wasn't sure, but now I am positive. We are being followed." "Okay, so what are we going to do now?" "We don't really know where we are going, and on that basis he can keep following us, I reckon, till we run out of fuel," said Bouncer. "Well, I think the only option is a quick diversion. I'll phase shift to a chopper and then fly off. That should solve the problem," replied Graham. "Hang on, Graham," thought Bouncer out loud. "What Bouncer?" replied Graham. "How did Barnaby know it? I mean, this was, or I should say is us," said Bouncer. "That's a good question, Bouncer," thought Graham. "Do you think he saw us phase?" replied Bouncer. "If he did see us trying to hide our phasing from him now on is pretty pointless. We may as well just phase and get out of here," admitted Graham. "I do not disagree, Graham. It's a plan. Let's do it." As the boys' conversation was happening, Barnaby was closing in on them. He knew he had to either stop them or place a tracker. Stopping them also meant potentially letting them get away if he got it wrong. A tracker would mean he could stop driving so crazily, and he would know where they were even if they managed to pull off another of those crazy matter transformations again. He chose tracker. 30 seconds after confirming the tail, the boys slowed down so Bouncer could dismount, and Graham could phase into a helicopter. Once completed, Bouncer remounted as co-pilot, and a few seconds later they screamed off into the night. Somewhere in between all of this, Barnaby managed to close the gap, ready a tracker and fire it at a now transformed Graham chopper. It landed with a magnetic, metallic click and started transmitting immediately. As Barnaby watched the helicopter fly off, he slid his car to a stop and looked at his phone. The ping, ping, ping of the tracker crept across a Google Maps type display. They were crossing into Norway. He could only presume they were going to island hop across the North Sea and into the Shetland Islands, down to the Orkneys and finally into Scotland. It was a good plan, no customs, little or no radar, if they kept low enough, and there would be plenty of deserted coastlines to fly by. He was really starting to admire these guys.